Right, I'm here now. Active shooter. Um, right, just setting this up. Hey, Sarah P, thank you for dialing. So we're just setting this up. Bear with me. I've just heard about all this active shooter stuff, so I'm literally just setting up now. I am. So you have to bear with me whilst I do this. Um, Erin Hack, you're a superstar if you've done this for me now. Okay. Whilst I do this, bear with me.
Are casualties, and the incident is ongoing. Governor Brian Kemp is calling on Georgians to keep the victims and their families in their hearts and prayers. We will bring you updates on this story as soon as we get them.
I will.
And the head of the Marine Board of Investigation now says if OceanGate CEO hadn't died in the Titan submersible implosion, he would have faced charges over it. The board's final report blames Stockton Rush for not just ignoring warning signs, but threatening anyone who raised red flags. Now, the board chair tells ABC News if Rush had lived, he would have faced manslaughter charges. ABC News transportation correspondent Gio Benitez has the latest.
The damning assessment from the U.S. Coast Guard into the 2023 Titan submersible disaster that killed 5 people.
This incident was from the board's view.
Right, I'll be back now, right? 2 seconds.
And when we looked at the evidence,
let me pin this first. And then I'll be back.
Actually,
I need to put the other stream on the other laptop.
5-page report, investigators placing the blame
I will,
on
darling.
OceanGate
I will.
and its CEO Stockton Rush, saying the primary cause was their failure to
I'll be
follow established engineering protocols for safety, testing, and maintenance of their submersible. Investigators believe the Titan imploded shortly after the dive began, killing all 5 passengers instantly, including Rush. The report also detailing how Rush flouted industry standards as he pushed his submersible to the limit.
The carbon fiber and titanium, there's a rule you don't do that. Well, I did.
Accusing him of threatening whistleblowers and ignoring or concealing safety concerns as the Titan's hull grew weaker with each dive.
If somehow the master of the vessel had survived this incident, the board feels that would have raised to a level that should be looked at for seaman's manslaughter.
Responding to the findings, OceanGate offered condolences to the families of those who died, noting the company permanently wound down operations following the incident while fully cooperating with the investigation. The family of father and son passengers Shahzada and Suleiman Dawood saying in a statement, "We hope this tragedy serves as a turning point and one that drives meaningful reform, rigorous safety standards, and effective oversight within the submersible industry." And investigators said Stockton Rush did everything he could to avoid regulation. One employee testified that if the Coast Guard gave him any problem, Rush said he would just buy himself a congressman to make it go away, Diane.
Now, Gio Benitez, thank you. And again, we are following breaking news. Fort Stewart in Georgia is on lockdown amid an active shooter situation. Officials are reporting multiple casualties. We will have the latest details right after the break.
The news never stops.
From Tampa, we are here tonight as Hurricane Milton has just made landfall.
The surge just keeps coming up.
Right on the border between Ukraine and Russia.
We're in an artillery position about 2 miles away from Gaza.
And ABC News Live is right there everywhere.
We're not far from where this rally took place, so just stick with us here.
Traveling with the president to the U.S.-Mexico border.
Here in London today.
Off the coast of Gaza.
Downtown Tel Aviv, rockets or missiles coming in.
From the most devastating disaster in Hawaii. Some areas are still smoldering.
Wherever the story.
From the front lines, the ruins of Rafah.
From the FBI.
Reporting from Capitol Hill.
In western Portugal.
Outside of Mexico City.
In Iceland. Let's go.
Here in France.
The eclipse across America.
Just stunning.
Unbelievable.
Streaming live to you.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is.
We're going to take you there.
You're streaming
ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live. Streaming free everywhere because the news never stops. Now you can listen to a podcast version of World News Tonight, available free wherever you listen. Nightline, the stories that shape your world, that shape your life. Dramatic, stunning, empowering, jaw-dropping. The most powerful stories of our time. Nightline, on right after Kimmel and streaming on Hulu.
This ship collected specimens from distant planets. Monsters. FX's Alien Earth premieres August 12th on FX, Hulu, and Hulu on Disney+.
The top stories, biggest headlines, and viral moments. You give us less than 10 minutes and we'll give you what you need to know. New every day, streaming on Disney+.
You never take evidence home, Morgan.
What? He's wearing gloves. You hired me because I noticed things that you missed.
Fucking hell, I was on mute, motherfucker. Right, hang on.
Police spokesperson that confirmed to CNN, quote, there is an active shooter, but did not give additional details as to the status of the shooter, how many shooters there could be, no additional details on that. Now, according to the Fort Worth Facebook page, casualties have been reported and the situation is ongoing. Now, Stewart, trains and deploys active and reserve Army units. This is home to the 3rd Infantry Division, and it's just 40 miles to the southwest of Savannah, Georgia. So still a very quickly unfolding situation. We're working to get more details, Pam.
Yeah, and I know it's tough in these early moments. We're just getting very little. Fort Stewart is also the largest.
Crystal, I will say you second, but Crystal, thank you so much for the PayPal. Thank you so much. Right, here we go. Erin Hacker, seen your message. Erin Hacker to the rescue, everyone. I don't think so, Robin G. I don't think so. Hang on, people.
What's going on?
All right, Robert Boyce, we appreciate your time today. Thank you. And we will have more on that active shooter investigation at Fort Stewart in Georgia right after the break.
All across America.
Fucking hell, why do you all like...
Wherever we are.
Why does Americans love breaks?
It's good to be home.
It feels like home.
When's the last time we dropped our things and went? Woke up somewhere that we both never been. Growing up.
Yeah, look for something like that because thanks, Erin. It's just absolutely mind-boggling to me how we get all these ads, breaks. Right, I can go back a little bit here to see what they're going to say.
Back, we are on top of breaking news right now. Army officials say there are casualties and an incident is ongoing after an active shooter situation at Fort Stewart.
I
The
think, yeah, what
Army
either
says
they
the
die.
2nd Armored Brigade Combat Team was locked down at 11:04 Eastern, and law enforcement is on the scene. The Governor, Brian Kemp, is calling on Georgians to keep the victims and their families in their prayers. Let's bring in ABC News contributor, former NYPD Chief of Detectives, Bob Boyce. Robert, thanks for coming on. The FBI is now offering assistance. What's the priority when you have a situation like this?
So, Diane, the protocols are put in place where it's immediate response by multi-agencies, and that's what's happening now. Local agencies will respond with ambulances, which is needed because they're saying there's casualties. So there's a lockdown at 11:04. That's almost about an hour and a half now we're in lockdown. So much has transpired that we don't know about yet. But getting those people who are casualties, have been hit, to area.
Okay. Gotcha. Is there any information you can share with us or anything like that? Okay. Well, we'll wrap up this hit. We'll get to the Ag Center, you said?
Yeah, the Ed Center, the big building right there.
Gotcha.
Down here, take a left.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So we actually just had an officer come up to us and tell us that Fort Stewart has actually asked us to leave this area here. Now, we're on a public sidewalk, as we would be at any other crime scene. They really can't kick us off of where we're at, but we are going to go there to try and get some more information in these sort of situations. We may get a press conference or something to that degree. So, again, just to kind of wrap up here, we are outside of the gate at Fort Stewart, where it seems they have reopened the gate to some degree. They are letting some folks back in, but we know this is a continually developing situation and that could change at any moment. We'll continue to stay out here and bring you the latest. For now, I'm Andy Calder, JCL 22 News.
All right, Andy, thank you so much for that live report. I guess we'll be checking back in with you at the Ag Center next time around, but we do have a major development here. This is from a U.S. official. They confirmed to ABC News. They said a person is in custody. They said multiple people have been wounded. Now, we've been telling you Fort Stewart originally said that there have been casualties, plural. ABC News, the U.S. official is telling them wounded. So working to learn if we can get more clarity, how many were injured, if anyone was killed as a result of this incident. We do have a crew on the way to Memorial Health in Savannah to see what they can learn, working to learn to see if any of the gunshot victims were brought there to be treated, because of course it's a trauma center. So that's where a lot of people go if they have been shot. But again, so what we know so far, an active shooter was reported at around 11:04 this morning. The Fort Stewart immediately went on a lockdown, went on full lockdown, but you just heard from Andy there. It almost looks like they've reopened the gates to traffic. But we have been hearing from several lawmakers in response to this incident. We'll start with Governor Brian Kemp. He said on X a few minutes ago, he said, quote, "As we remain in close contact with law enforcement on the ground, Marty, the girls, and I are saddened by today's tragedy at Fort Stewart. We are keeping the victims, their families, and all those who answered the call to serve in our hearts and prayers, and we ask that Georgians everywhere do the same." We also have been hearing from other lawmakers, also city leaders. Let's go to a statement from Buddy Carter. He took to X a few minutes ago. He said, "I am monitoring the situation at Fort Stewart. Please join me in prayers for the casualties, their families, and the brave law enforcement officers working to protect our community." Now, I believe our reporter Lydia Blackstone has just arrived at Memorial Health in Savannah. We want to see if we can check in with her and find out what she's been seeing there at the hospital. Lydia, what can you tell us?
Hey, Brooke. Pretty common scene for Wednesday that you would see out here right now. No ambulances coming in yet. Of course, it takes about 40 minutes to get all the way from Fort Stewart to here, even if those ambulances are going as fast as possible. And they would come here to Memorial Health, like you stated earlier, because this is a level 1 trauma center. They're equipped to deal with different things when it comes to gunshot wounds, casualties, different incidents just like this. And they're, of course, preparing in the emergency room behind me for all these people that are expected to come here to be treated. There is a hospital on base that's Win Army Community Hospital, but it's not a level 1 trauma center, so they are expected to come here. But right now, very quiet scene out here, just really news crews, us out here, and then of course you see doctors walking by, but things are expected to pick up in just about 30-40 minutes. I mean, Andy was telling us that ambulances were leaving and coming and going just about 10 minutes ago. So right now, right here, we're staged and prepared to see all of these first responders help these other first responders in a sense, because these are soldiers that are going to be coming here from Fort Stewart to Memorial Health. So we'll keep you updated with all those details as soon as we learn more about how many, if they're coming in, and we'll continue to bring you that coverage here at Memorial Health. But for now, I'll send it back to you, Brooke.
Lydia, thank you so much for that live report. And I do want to note we did just get some new reportable information. We're told victims are being taken to Memorial University Medical Center in Savannah. That's, of course, as Lydia just mentioned, the regional trauma center. Now, the hospital does not have an update on the number of casualties at this point. But again, a U.S. official told ABC News that a person is in custody and multiple people have been wounded. We are working to learn more information, whether we can confirm an exact number of how many people were impacted by this active shooter at Fort Stewart. But again, all of this started at around 11 this morning. Full base on lockdown, schools on lockdown as a result of this incident. We did hear from Liberty County schools. They're under a soft lockdown. The school district said out of an abundance of caution, 3 schools are on a soft lockdown: Button Gwinnett Elementary, Joseph Martin Elementary, and Snelson Golden Middle School. The district said they are working closely with law enforcement to ensure that the safety of students and staff is prioritized. They're going to provide updates as more information becomes available. But again, in our live shot with Andy just a few minutes ago, we actually, when we first checked in with him at around, I would say 11:30, we saw really no movement at the gates of Fort Stewart. But now suddenly we are starting to see cars coming in and out. So we're working to learn whether the lockdown has been lifted. But as ABC News is reporting, they were told by a U.S. official that a suspect is in custody. We are working to hear from Fort Stewart themselves to see whether that is the case. Obviously, we don't know quite yet if this was just one active shooter, if there were multiple. I would assume it was probably just one, because that is what they said originally. They just said active shooter, singular. But they did report multiple casualties as a result of this incident. We want to turn back now to that 911 call. If you are just joining us, this is what happened at around 11 this morning. This is what we heard.
Mag Station 1, mutual aid request for a gunshot wound on Fort Stewart. It'll be building 8420 2nd Brigade, 8420 2nd Brigade, gunshot wound, mutual aid. Mag Station 1, mutual aid request for a gunshot wound on Fort Stewart. It'll be building 8420 2nd Brigade, 8420 2nd Brigade, gunshot wound, mutual aid.
Ken, you were just listening to the 911 audio from around 11 this morning. You can hear in that call, they originally said gunshot wound. We are now hearing there are multiple people who are wounded. We're working to learn more information. It looks like we just got an update, working to see if we can confirm this, but this just came into our newsroom email. It says 5 soldiers were shot today in an active shooter incident in the 2nd Armored Brigade combat team area. All soldiers treated on site moved to the community hospital. They are saying no active threat to the community. Law enforcement was dispatched for a possible shooting in the 2nd Armored Brigade combat team complex at 10:56 a.m. The shooter was apprehended at 11:35 a.m. The installation was locked down at 11:04 a.m. and Fort Stewart lifted the lockdown of the main containment area at 12:10 p.m. The 2nd Armored Brigade combat team complex still locked down at this time. Emergency medical personnel were dispatched to treat the wounded soldiers at 11:09 a.m. Again, this incident, they're saying, remains under investigation. They said no additional information will be released until the investigation is complete. So that is an update that we just received from Fort Stewart. So that is the confirmed information that we now have. 5 soldiers shot in an active shooter situation. Again, this happened in the 2nd Armored Brigade combat team area. All soldiers treated on site and moved to Wynn Army Community Hospital for further treatment. We did hear that some were being brought to Memorial Health in Savannah, so we're working to learn whether maybe get some clarity on that. But this is saying that they were treated at the Wynn Army Community Hospital. They said there is no active threat to the community at this point. Again, law enforcement dispatched for a possible shooting at 10:56 this morning, but it wasn't until around 11:04 that the lockdown occurred. We want to go back to that statement now from Governor Brian Kemp. He said, as we remain in close contact with law enforcement, Marty, the girls, and I are saddened by the tragedy at Fort Stewart. We're keeping the families, their victims, and all those who answer the call to serve in our hearts and prayers. And we ask that Georgians everywhere do the same. Now, again, Fort Stewart said it lifted the lockdown of the main containment area at 12:10 p.m., but the 2nd Armored Brigade Combat Team Complex is still locked down at this point. And emergency medical personnel were dispatched to treat the wounded soldiers at 11:09 a.m. We want to read you the full statement from Fort Stewart if you are just now tuning in. Here's what it says. It says 5 soldiers were shot today in an active shooter incident in the 2nd Armored Brigade Combat Team area. All soldiers were treated on site and moved to Wynn Army Community Hospital for further treatment. There is no active threat to the community. Law enforcement was dispatched for a possible shooting in the 2nd Armored Brigade Combat Team Complex at 10:56 a.m. The shooter was apprehended at 11:35 a.m. The installation was locked down at 11:04 a.m. and Fort Stewart lifted the lockdown of the main containment area at 12:10 p.m. 2nd Armored Brigade Combat Team Complex still locked down. Emergency medical personnel were dispatched to treat the wounded soldiers at 11:09 a.m. The incident remains under investigation, and no additional information will be released until the investigation is complete. So that is the latest update that we have from Fort Stewart. So now they are saying that there is no more active threat. We do know multiple schools, including Liberty County schools, were placed on a soft lockdown as a result of this incident. But Fort Stewart now saying the threat has been contained at this point. 5 soldiers shot. I think a question that we are going to be working to answer is, are those soldiers just wounded? Have they succumbed to their injuries? But if they were just taken to Wynn Army Community Hospital, I feel like that's a good indication that it might just be a wound. Because Memorial Health in Savannah does tend to handle more serious injuries. That's a Trauma 1 center. Of course, we are working to learn. We did initially hear that some soldiers were being taken to Memorial Health in Savannah. So we're working to maybe get some answers on that and make sure that we're providing you all with the most up-to-date information. But again, 5 soldiers shot today as a result of an active shooter. And we heard it on our police scanner at around 11 this morning that there was an active shooter on Fort Stewart. We now know, excuse me, I'm beginning to lose my voice. We now know that the shooter was apprehended. I'm looking at the statement to make sure. Yes, 11:35 a.m. So it was about 40 minutes after that initial 911 call came down. So that 911 call happened at 10:56 a.m. That's when law enforcement was dispatched for a possible shooting. And again, the shooter was apprehended at 11:35 a.m. So we're going to work to learn who this suspect is, his background. Was he a Fort Stewart soldier himself? What was he doing there at the base? Why did he fire these shots? Of course, that's a lot of questions that investigators are currently working to answer at this time. I'm sure they're working to nail down a reason for why this happened. But we want to now take you to a statement from State Representative Buddy Carter. He took to X a few minutes ago saying, quote, "I'm monitoring the situation at Fort Stewart. Please join me in prayer for the casualties, their families, and the brave law enforcement officers working to protect our community." But again, we had our Andy Cole live at the scene there at Fort Stewart. He was the only reporter there on scene, and he was kind of tracking what was happening from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. He probably got there at around 11:20 a.m., but he saw a lot of law enforcement vehicles heading in and out of the base. Saw a couple ambulances leaving the base. One ambulance had its sirens on and kind of rushed out of there. He also saw a fire truck head in there at one point, followed by a police vehicle. Again, we saw law enforcement from all over the area responding to this incident. We also heard from Savannah Mayor Van Johnson. He said he's extending our prayers and assistance to our friends and soldiers at Fort Stewart. Of course, this is just a devastating situation for so many. No one wants to hear about an active shooter where soldiers are being injured. We want to turn now to WJCL 22 News' Lydia Blackstone. She is live at Memorial Health in Savannah. And Lydia, we did hear that those soldiers were taken to the Wynn Army Community Hospital, but we did hear some conflicting information that some were taken to Memorial Health. Of course, we're working to learn that information and get confirmation.
Brooke, of course, the hope is that they're not going to be taken here to Memorial, that they don't have severe injuries that would warrant a level 1 trauma center. But we're still standing by here on scene to see if any of they could be transferred from Wynn Army Community Hospital and taken here, depending on the severity of their injuries that we don't know yet. We don't know, of course, if this is an incident where they are just having minor gunshot wounds or if it is more serious here. But of course, they're equipped and prepared. I just spoke to Memorial Health here, and what they told me is that they're always ready for a situation like this. They deal with lots of gunshot wound injuries here in Savannah just on any given night here. But this type of incident, they're also prepared to respond to with, of course, ORs for surgery and all of that. So we're waiting to see. It has been probably about enough time to when Andy said those ambulances were leaving to when we would about see them here. We have not seen any yet. So we'll, of course, report that if any of these soldiers end up coming here to Memorial Health. But right now, it's still quiet on the ground. Brooke, back to you.
Yeah, I know that you are responsible for our Voices of Valor segment. I know you've spoken with a lot of soldiers in the past at Fort Stewart. How do you think they're probably feeling at this moment? It's just a devastating situation.
Well, whenever it's first responders and an incident like this happens, you're surrounded by people that are trained for situations like this overseas, not here. And so that's definitely a heartbreak when they're of course trained to respond to it over here as well, but it's not something that you would ever hope. And of course, what I think about as a military reporter are these families, how they're responding there on the base. Of course, if they're impacted because they're in that area or they're not impacted, if you're there on the base or live in Hinesville, you're impacted by this because this is your community. And when something like this happens, it's definitely something you want to know as much information as you can find about it. And we want to give you that because, you know, in the segment I love these military families and I enjoy talking to them and these soldiers. So for something like this to happen, I can imagine there's a lot of worry, a lot of confusion, but of course there's a very strong knit military community here in Southeast Georgia. Brooke.
Thank you. And Lydia is actually the one who confirmed for us that there was an active shooter on Fort Stewart. That was thanks to her contact she got from her Voices of Valor segment. Lydia, thank you so much. Again, what we know so far is that 5 soldiers were shot on Fort Stewart today. We're working to learn the extent of their injuries. That information has not been released at this point. Fort Stewart did say that they have apprehended a suspect. They said the shooter was apprehended at 11:35 a.m. We're working to learn if that's the sole suspect in this incident. But again, we want to play some 911 audio for you of what happened at around 11 this morning.
Mag Station 1, mutual aid request for a gunshot wound on Fort Stewart. It'll be building 8420 2nd Brigade, 8420 2nd Brigade, gunshot wound, mutual aid.
And now we want to take you to a statement that we got from FBI Atlanta. They said, quote, FBI Atlanta Savannah office is aware of the incident at Fort Stewart and is coordinating with Army Criminal Investigation Division for any assistance that might be needed. Any further questions should be directed to Army Public Affairs. And of course, that is who we have been in touch with, working to get any information on this shooting. But again, WJCL 22 News had crews on the scene as the fort was locked down. We only saw law enforcement personnel going in and out of Fort Stewart. They had the whole area barricaded off. We saw a couple of ambulances leaving the area. We also saw a fire truck responding, police from all over our region responding to this incident. We want to check back in now with WJCL 22 News' Andy Cole. Andy, you were the first reporter there on scene.
Yeah, Brooke, I was the first reporter. And when I first got out here just before 11:30, this entire road right here was bumper to bumper traffic because the security at the gate was heightened. Everything has now calmed down. Really, it's been a fluctuating situation all day. When we first got here, as I said, bumper to bumper traffic. Then that died down completely, and we had security that were controlling traffic here in the intersection. And in fact, put out traffic cones to completely close off the gate. We know now that traffic has resumed in and out of the gate. We've seen a fair amount of people leaving Fort Stewart and a fair amount of people coming on. I want to step out of the way so my photographer can give you a better look at the area. Really, there's nothing to see from where we're at the main gate here. It has certainly calmed down and looks like a fairly typical day at Fort Stewart. But what I can tell you from experience dealing with these sort of security situations here on Fort Stewart is that after such a situation, you're going to notice a delayed time getting onto the base because of increased security trying to get you back on. Now, Fort Stewart in a statement told us that there is no active threat to the community, but of course, you can never be too safe or sorry. I want to recap this latest information that we've gotten from a post from Fort Stewart Hunter Army Airfield on Facebook. They tell us 5 soldiers were shot in the 2nd Armored Brigade combat team area. We know those soldiers were taken to the hospital here on Fort Stewart, Wynn Army Community Hospital, for further treatment. We know our Lydia Blackstone, excuse me, that's a truck right here. We know our Lydia Blackstone is at Memorial Health in Savannah, where we have gotten reports, again, unconfirmed reports, that some of those soldiers may be heading towards Lydia, and it's about that time when they should be getting there. We know, too, again, that Fort Stewart says there is no active threat to the community, but something like this is incredibly scary. We noticed here at this little restaurant strip mall here, we've got a Subway and an Indian restaurant. It was incredibly packed over the last hour with soldiers who were trying to get back on base. They're trying to figure out what's going on. At this point, they have now returned on base again. Things are coming back to normal, but I have a feeling that it will take some time before it gets back to true normal. Outside of Fort Stewart, I'm Andy Colby, JCL 22 News.
Andy, thank you so much for that live report. And one more time for anyone who is just tuning in, I want to kind of recap for you what we know so far. So at around 11 this morning, Fort Stewart was locked down. That was because of an active shooter that had been reported. And then we learned that the active shooter had actually been taken into custody. That was at around 11:35 this morning. But schools went on lockdown near the base. That was just out of an abundance of caution. Of course, they want to make sure that kids are staying safe as they're trying to learn. Of course, this is just the start of the school year. You already have a few schools being placed on lockdown due to an incident like this, which is just heartbreaking. But what we know is 5 soldiers were shot today. The initial dispatch happened at 10:56 a.m., as you just heard Andy kind of recapping some of this. But these are some of those Liberty County schools that were under soft lockdown today. We're going to work to see if they're still on lockdown, because we are told that the lockdown at most of Fort Stewart has been lifted, but what we do know is the 2nd Armored Brigade Combat Team Complex is still locked down at this time, and we're told that's actually where the shooting was reported. I'm sure a lot of families are scouring the internet, trying to get in touch with their loved ones, trying to see whether their loved one was involved or a victim of this shooting. A very scary morning and afternoon for so many in our area. Lydia mentioned it earlier. This is really devastating for everyone in the area, including the Hinesville community. You know, Fort Stewart is so ingrained in that community. There are a lot of customers of businesses there. They formed relationships. We've seen videos online that we are still working to get for you so we can show you of soldiers at Fort Stewart running, working to get secure after those shots rang out at Fort Stewart. At this time, we just know that one shooter was apprehended at 11:35 a.m. Now, I'm told that we do have a full timeline of what happened. So Fort Stewart, this is the timeline that they've provided to us in response to this active shooting. They say law enforcement was dispatched for a possible shooting in the 2nd Armored Brigade Combat Team Complex at 10:56 this morning. The installation was locked down at 11:04 this morning. The shooter was apprehended at 11:35 a.m., just half an hour after officers responded to the call. Fort Stewart lifted the lockdown of the main containment area at 12:10 p.m., but we are told that the 2nd Armored Brigade Combat Team Complex is still locked down at this time. But again, we just showed you Andy's live shot just moments ago of people going in and out of Fort Stewart. So it looks like the gates have been reopened. Again, it's really just the 2nd Armored Brigade Combat Team Complex that's still locked down at this point. And we were told that is where the shooting occurred. That is where first responders were initially dispatched to. But Andy, He had said that he had seen law enforcement really from all over responding to this incident. I'm sure we're going to be hearing probably more from some Fort Stewart soldiers who were actually there when all of this unfolded. We're going to hope to hear from them. If any of you are watching and want to speak with us, please reach out to us, news@wjcl.com. With that, we want to check back in with WJCL 22 News' Lydia Blackstone. She is live outside Memorial Health in Savannah. And Lydia, have you learned anything in past few minutes?
Yes, Brooke, we've learned a few extra details here that we know that none of those soldiers that went to Wynn Army Community Hospital, they're not going to be coming by any type of helicopter just because of the weather conditions here. But we have confirmed that 2 are going to be arriving by ambulance. And that's, of course, to be treated here at Memorial Health because it is a level 1 trauma center. Meanwhile, Wynn Army Community Hospital is level 4. So different response level here. They handle all sorts of gunshot wounds just being here in Savannah and the different crime that we see. But of course, they're prepared. They're inside this ER here. If a helicopter were to land, it would land right above me. But because of weather, they are not going to be bringing any soldiers in. And of course, we earlierly confirmed that this was an active shooter situation because I was talking to some of my contacts out there at Fort Stewart that I work with so regularly, reporting on military topics here in Southeast Georgia. It's a very tight-knit military community. Not only do we have Fort Stewart all the way out in Hinesville, here in this area, just a few blocks from where I'm standing, there's Hunter Army Airfield, where there are so many different families and soldiers that are listening into this, wanting to hear the latest details on these victims that, of course, are in this tragic and unfortunate situation that happened in an area where first responders all are. Those soldiers, they're our backbone. And of course, this type of incident brings such confusion, and we want to help clarify as much as we can. So right now, we do know that 2 are going to be arriving by ambulance shortly here. It's about a 40-minute drive from Hinesville to Savannah. So we're just awaiting their arrival here so they can be treated as soon as possible. Brooke, back to you.
Lydia, thank you. And again, Memorial Health is a level 1 trauma center. So if they are being transferred to that hospital, that means that they can get better care for the injuries that they have at that hospital versus the Wynn Army Community Hospital where they initially were. But Lydia brings up a great point. They can't be transported by helicopter, and that's due to the weather today. So they have to be taken there by ambulance. But what we know at this time is that 5 soldiers were shot as a result of this active shooter. Savannah Mayor Van Johnson is one of many people reacting to this tragedy at Fort Stewart. He said, quote, extending our prayers and assistance to our friends and soldiers at Fort Stewart. Just a devastating situation. You know, a lot of lawmakers, a lot of city leaders just devastated to hear about this news. No one expects this to happen on a random Wednesday morning. Of course, we are working to learn more about who the suspected shooter is, his background, any possible motive that he might have had for this shooting. It's just senseless when you hear about someone opening fire on a military base. You know, our soldiers go overseas to protect us, and unfortunately, you don't want to hear about them being attacked here at home. We want to go back now to WJCL 22 News' Andy Cole, who is live at Fort Stewart. Andy, what are you seeing at this time?
Yeah, Brooke, at this point right now, things have kind of, I hate using this term normal, but it seems like it's an average day here at Fort Stewart. Traffic is coming in and out of the base, but we know that it is not a normal day out here at Fort Stewart. We know from officials here at Fort Stewart that they tell us 5 soldiers have been shot at the 2nd Armored Brigade Combat Team area. We know that several of them are being treated at Wynn Army Community Hospital, and we know that several of them are now heading to Savannah to go to Memorial Health to be further treated at that level 1 trauma center. But here right now, outside of the main gate of Fort Stewart, things are fairly normal. When I got here about 90 minutes ago, traffic was incredibly backed up with people trying to get onto the base. At that point, maybe about 20 minutes after that, police started shutting down traffic onto the base and actually installed traffic cones here to the front of the base to prevent anyone from coming in and out. That lasted for a good half hour before those officers left the area and were inviting folks back onto the base. Now, we know, I want to step out of the way so my photographer can give you a better look onto the base. We know that in these situations, after a security situation on the base, we know that security is going to be tight. And I apologize, it's tough with these cars driving to get a clear shot of that main gate. But we do know that extra security precautions are underway to keep the soldiers and their families safe living here on Fort Stewart. We know that this will continue to be a breaking situation. We will continue to learn more later in the day. I've been reaching out to Fort Stewart officials to try and get more information from them. We have not yet heard back, but we do know, again, from Fort Stewart officials, I want to recap, 5 soldiers shot in an active shooter incident at the 2nd Armored Brigade Combat Team area. Brooke, we will continue to stay out here and bring you the latest when we have it.
That live report, and we are actually now hearing from the White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt. She just released a statement she posted on X, quote, "The president has been briefed on the shooting at Fort Stewart in Georgia. The White House is monitoring the situation." It looks like that is actually the statement that you're seeing on your screen there. That is from the Fort Stewart Hunter Army Airfield. That's a statement from them. But Carolyn Leavitt, she said, quote, "The president has been briefed on the shooting at Fort Stewart in Georgia. The White House is monitoring the situation." So, of course, we've been on air since 12 this afternoon monitoring the situation. But this is making headlines all across the country, not just here in Georgia. It's not every day that you hear about shots being fired at an Army base here on U.S. soil. It's just a tragic situation. We know 5 soldiers were shot. We're working to learn the extent of their injuries. Our Lydia Blackstone learned just moments ago that 2 of those 5 soldiers are actually being taken to Memorial Health in Savannah, a level 1 trauma center, to be treated for their injuries. So that does possibly indicate that their injuries might be more serious. Again, we want to return now to that 911 audio we have, just kind of documenting what happened when all of this began to unfold at around 11 this morning.
Mag Station 1, mutual aid request for a gunshot wound on Fort Stewart. It'll be building 8420 2nd Brigade, 8420 2nd Brigade, gunshot wound, mutual aid.
Now, again, Fort Stewart is saying that they did apprehend the shooter at 11:35 this morning. Officers were originally dispatched for a possible shooting in the 2nd Armored Brigade Combat Complex at 10:56 a.m. So that's about 40 minutes after that initial dispatch that they were able to apprehend the suspected shooter. We are working to learn who that shooter is. We're, of course, going to be monitoring any arrest reports to see if anyone has been arrested with charges that kind of match up with what happened here at Fort Stewart today. Working to learn whether...
I think so. We get the gist of it now. We get the gist of it. Active shooter has been arrested at 11:35 a.m. It happened at 11:05 a.m. 5 soldiers shot, 2, I presume, critically because they go into the level 1 hospital, so, and the rest aren't. So there you go. That's the map of it all. That's where it happened. 2nd Armored Brigade in Fort Stewart. So we do not know anything about the shooter. We don't know what he looks like or what he's about, or if it actually is a he. We don't know. Hi, Dennis Sweeney. How you doing, fella? It's going to take time to get all this digested. So the 2 made injured soldiers will be at the hospital in about 40 minutes. So we know that bit. Let's see if there's any other update here. We got another one down there. Let's see what she has to say, if she says anything at all. She seems to just want a text. So there you go. You look at yourself. You look at yourself. There you go. You scratch your nose. That's fine. Dennis doesn't know if he's coming or going either. Don't worry about it. Daffodil. Yeah, look, that's a mirror she's looking at. See, am I beautiful? So we know the majority of it is fine.
Can you do me a favor?
Yeah, I can.
Could you grab my
Oh, I can't do that kind of thing. I'm not there, so I can't. I do a lot of things though.
laptop and my Wi-Fi?
Right, we'll close out. Let's see if there's hang on. Another. I'd rather watch her than the young kid, the young guy. So there's not much information coming out from what we gather. Right. I'm going to leave it on this one because I tell you why. This is the Memorial Health This is Memorial Health. So this is where they will be arriving. Let me mute it. This is where the two soldiers will be arriving in probably about 30 minutes or so. So we might. Oh, have they arrived now? No, that's not it, is it? They said should be arriving in about 30 minutes. So that's why I probably got that kind of look. Just remember, this is a level 1 trauma hospital, and the other one's a level 4. Hence why 2 of the soldiers are coming to this hospital. As a reminder, the active shooter has been apprehended at 11:35 a.m. Eastern. 5 soldiers shot. We're just waiting for confirmation about who the shooter was. They're working on that. They've not released any details as of yet. I will keep an eye out on Twitter and see if that says anything as well. Hope the Patriots day was good today, Dennis. It looked like you had a good time. I've not looked at your messages yet, so yeah. It was the shop near building 8420, 2nd Brigade. Reports indicate there may be 2 shooters. The base is on lockdown. The scene is treated as a mass casualty event. Well, that was 22 seconds ago, but hang on a minute. I'm not sure how recent that is. I don't know how recent that is. Authorities say 5 soldiers were hospitalized. We know that bit. Some of these are like 40 seconds ago, but these are old news, I think. Caroline Levitt says the president has been briefed on the shooting at Fort Worth in Georgia. The White House is monitoring the situation. So the president is monitoring the situation. The shooter opened fire inside the 2nd Armored Brigade combat team area, and the suspect is in hospital. We are awaiting a statement from the White House, but as of yet, no statement has been made. They're just monitoring everything. So it happened. Oh, is this? Hang on. Have I got a picture here? What is this then? Hang on. There's a picture here, but I can't confirm if this is a shooter. I can't confirm, so there's no point in me putting it up because I don't know if it's him or not. Good afternoon, Wicked Sight. That's a weird one. Why would they do that? Okay, I won't show that just in case because I don't know if that is them or not. Right, okay, hang on. Oh, what's she got to say?
Sorry about that. Yeah, the camera moving was my fault.
That's all right.
That was my fault. No, it was my fault. I told you you were clear. We are still waiting for those 2 victims to arrive here. We do know that it's going to be via ambulance, not helicopter, because of the weather situation. So that's just another added factor here in a situation that nobody wants to confront, nobody wants to have to deal with, but that is the unfortunate situation that we're seeing here today. So we know that there are at least 2 people en route from Fort Stewart, and keep in mind, how long of a drive that is from Fort Stewart into the heart of Savannah to get to the hospital. Obviously, they're in an ambulance. They're going to be able to go faster, have sirens on, so people are going to be moving out of their way. But it is a longer travel time than if they had been arriving here via ambulance. So we are here at Memorial Hospital waiting outside of the ambulance bay where ambulance drop-offs occur. Now, I can tell you that we have also seen several Savannah Police Department officers pulling up to the emergency room over the last couple of minutes. I see at least 2 or 3 at the walk-in entrance, and then there's one lone officer's car over by the ambulance bay. We don't know if that is related to the soldiers coming in, but in these high-profile situations, that's not uncommon to have some kind of a police presence to assist and make sure that people's identities aren't revealed, things of that nature. So we are aware that it could be related, but we don't know 100% for sure if that is related. So again, we are expecting 2 soldiers to be transported here. The Army has confirmed that at least 5 people were shot, and so we don't know what the conditions are of those other 3 people. Wishful thinking says that they're able to get their injuries treated at Wynn Army Hospital, but we don't know for sure whether that's the case. And the 2 people that are going to be coming here to Memorial, we can infer that their injuries are going to be on the more severe end because Memorial is the only level 1 trauma center in our area, and it's the only hospital that is going to be suitable to treat more severe or critical injuries. So we can infer that at least those 2 people are seriously or critically injured. We don't know exactly what their status is right now. If we had their names, which I can tell you we don't at this time, but if we had their names in a typical situation, we could give those names to the hospital and they could at least give us an update on what their condition is, tell us whether they're in stable condition, critical condition, serious condition, what the extent of their injuries are. But because these are soldiers that we're talking about, that information is going to have to come directly from the Army. I can tell you that I have been communicating with the Army since I've been down here on the ground, trying to get more information about the conditions of these soldiers and whether there have been any deaths. The word casualty has been said. Again, just to emphasize, casualty could mean a death, but it could also mean a serious injury. So I am in communication with those officials for the Army, and as soon as I have any information to share, I will. But just keep in mind that this is an extremely fluid situation. And as you can imagine, likely a very chaotic situation now that there's no ongoing threat to the public and that the people responsible for this has been apprehended. That gives way for people to start getting their ducks in a row and figuring out what is fact and what is not fact. And we're going to continue to bring you the facts here on WTOC, but keep in mind, because of the fluidity of the situation, that can change. As soon as anybody comes here to the hospital, we will be the first to let you know. But for now, I am going to send it back to the studio. Thank you.
All right, when the ambulance arrive, I may go off tripod. We may just be more fluid.
Okay.
Right now, I'm going to walk over to the street because if they come down the street, I want to be able to see them.
Okay.
Your ears feel.
Huh.
Ears.
Yeah.
Anything coming?
I'm going to go stand over on the other corner until they need me and just keep an eye.
All right, that's cool. I'm going to get my monopoly.
Okay, so 5 injured, 2 coming to the level 1 hospital. No, 1. So there's reports there might be multiple, but we've already heard that there's 1 responsible in custody. So we've only been confirmed 1 shooter in custody. There have been reports it could be multiple. However, that's not confirmed. That's just hearsay. The only thing that's been confirmed is that we have 5. So 1 suspect arrested and now in wherever he went to. and then we got 5 soldiers shot, 2 of which are coming to the Memorial Health University Medical Center, which is a level 1 trauma center, and the other 3 will stay currently at the level 4 hospital on the army base. So yeah, we got that. So 5 shots. 5 shots. But currently, we don't know how bad they were shot or anything like that. It seems that everything's gone back to normal on site. We're just waiting to see more information about the actual shooter and also what's happening with the 5 soldiers as well. Last audio's bad. What's going on? So this is them at Memorial Health. It'll take them probably another half an hour to get to this position. So yeah, praise to everyone. Thank you very much, lovely. Absolutely positive praise for the 5 soldiers and anyone else that may have been injured. Hopefully, touch wood, there's no deaths. That would be what we're praying for. They don't know why this guy did what he did, or woman. We don't know what it is, male or female. But currently, we're just praying for them all, that they will come out okay. Right, hang on a minute. As we watch that, I will try and see and update you with another incident that happened today. Today is going to be the day. Right, let's see what this guy's got to say as well then. He likes to say stuff. I'll flip between a couple of screens here so we can see.
I've seen on Belfast Keller headed towards 95 Georgia AJA 220.
I don't know that. I have no information that that's connected to this, by the way, what you just heard on the scanner about a stolen truck. I just tried to listen to the scanner replay, and for whatever reason, and I don't think it's on my end, for whatever reason, the scanner replay that I have access to from this incident, there's no volume on most of it. And what I'll do is I'll just confirm, just to go back, I'll go back to one of the replays, and there's volume at the beginning, I think. Let me just confirm that. Unless there's something wrong with the player. It's weird. It's like it looks like there's stuff on there, but I can't hear any of it. I'll try to download it too. Can do that. Let's try that. I'm going to try that. I just downloaded one of the scanner replays, and I'll try to play it that way and see if I have any better luck. So that's the beginning. The beginning plays. Oh, it works. Okay, it does work. All right, I got the scanner replay. For some reason, it wasn't playing in the player. I don't know why that is. So the scanner replay does.
Call 1384.
Hold on, that's really way too loud. That's way too loud. I'll fix the volume. I'm gonna kind of like just kind of flip through and just see what I can find in there.
We're on a tag channel or something where we can talk to each other. Stand by. Let me ask.
Scanner replay via broadcastify.com.
Traffic stop.
So trying to find you more information. Again, this is scanner replay, but maybe we can hear someone here. I have to kind of jump around because the normal way I do it isn't working.
8642 is the ACS building on post. Thank you. 214 Stewart, just call back, advise building 8420, and it's going to be where SRT and units need to make contact. Building 8420, if any units are not clear.
So we're listening to the scanner replay right now.
Be advised, they do have a command center at building 8420. 2J3. 10-4, sir. Fire department has stopped us at the entrance. Clear. Med 5, you're taking that respiratory distress? Yes, sir. 10-4. Unrelated to the current issue, 60-year-old female having difficulty breathing, conscious and breathing. Not alone. No, 57 Central, 23. 10-4.
Guys, it says replay right here. It says replay on the screen. Scanner replay.
10-4. All units responding, just be advised that there are two separate incidents. One happened in building 8420, second one happened in another building, 8642. Thereby, then the second shooter is currently upstairs in that second building at this time.
So I guess they were reporting initially on the scanner 2 shooters, but you can. That's the live scanner. But the statement says there was 1 shooter. So my guess is that might have been incorrect. That was incorrect information on the scanner. Okay, because this is a scanner replay we're listening to that said second shooter. But sometimes often, regularly with a shooting, there are false reports of a second shooter. But you can see from the statement from the Army, they say the shooter. 1 shooter.
Okay, can you repeat traffic?
This is live scanner. That's the live scanner.
Thank you.
I know it's confusing. I'll go back and play some of the replay again to see what else we can hear.
91 Central, same traffic.
I'm going to put the replay on again.
276. Go east.
Second
brigade's on the back side post, right? 10-4 is on second brigade. 10-4, that's what the gate guard told us. 3682, that's a farm. It's off of the range road back there.
Christy Noam says, real quick, Christy Noam, Secretary of Homeland Security, says, I have been briefed on the shooting and that DHS is actively monitoring the situation on the ground. And she says, we are praying for the victims and their families.
What entrance are you guys staged at? I mean, that's all from us to the marshals. They'll be 1095. On the left. The range road is through the main gate all the way out the rear gate. First right. Onto 144 east. 10-4. Medic 3 and Medic 1 are staging at the fire scene at the entrance. Medic 3, Medic 4, I apologize. Medic 3, Medic 4. Down lanes to get to 2nd Brigade. Again, enter through gate 4 at 2nd Brigade.
Hey, 5 Central, what was that building number?
It's going to be building 8420. That's what command.
23.
So we are bringing you live coverage. 5 soldiers have been shot at Fort Stewart in Georgia. You can see it on the screen. The shooter is in custody. We don't know the conditions of the 5 soldiers. We don't know if the shooter was shot.
Right. I'm just going to try and do this for a second and see if this works or not. Hang on, bear with me as I try this. What can I do it as? That one, maybe try that one. Right, can you hear this? It should be just a bzz sounding noise at the minute. Right, can you hear that? No one's in chat. Okay, I'll just call my thing. Thank you, Wicked. Okay, so you don't hear it. Oh, hang on. Maybe if I do this, maybe it'll work. Okay, I'll try this way. Right, hang on. Let's try this. Tapping's me. Tap, 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 tap. Right, we won't hear anything for like... you should hear a buzzing noise. After about 20 seconds, you should hear the actual feed. So I'll tell you when I hear it. Nothing yet. Well, this is going to be annoying because I can't hear anything.
Literacy 3 is.
Do you hear that?
Literacy 3 is pending from Liberty. Okay.
Bad Daz, I heard it. Happy days. There you go. Daffodil. There you go. If Daffodil hears it, it's all good. Where is it though? It should be more active than this. This is annoying.
3 Central, I'm clear LCJ. Are you ready for codes?
10-4, go ahead.
It's going to be a 04501 stat 5 for the domestic, and then it's going to be a 120101 stat 5. It's going to be the same case.
10-4.
Okay, I don't think we got it.
Well, the trial is still going. That will be ongoing. It's still there.
But this one ain't working. I was trying to be clever and play the scanner, but it's not working. Not the way I want it to be. Right. What if I do this now then instead? No, I don't like that guy. Hang on then. Let's watch this then. This was a good idea at the time. Now it's fucked, isn't it? But
Oh, hey guys, this is it. This is it. This is it. This is it.
I
Come
was
to us.
about
Come
to
to
say-
us. Come to us. Come to us. Chrissy, come to us.
this is it.
You can see that a U.S. Army ambulance has just pulled in here at Memorial Hospital in Savannah, presumably carrying at least one, potentially two of the soldiers that have come here from Wynn Army Community Hospital. Now, again, Memorial is the only level 1 trauma center in this area, so we can infer that the victims that are in the back of this ambulance are in need of some sort of critical care, though we don't know exactly what their conditions are at this time. That's information that will have to come from the United States military. They've not released it at this moment because it is a fluid situation and they might not even know right now. We assume that they have, of course, been in communication with medical personnel. Now, on the ground, you can see the Army ambulance and you can see an EMT getting out right now. There are also several Savannah Police Department officers on the ground monitoring the situation. This can happen when high-profile patients are brought into a hospital. It never hurts to have an extra set of hands just to protect the identity of the people and just make sure that everything goes smoothly, especially when you're talking about patients that have come from a mass shooter situation. We can see an EMT getting into the back of the ambulance right now, and the person in the ambulance is likely to be brought into the hospital over the next several minutes. Now, they are being taken care of. As Dawn said earlier, we know that Memorial is likely bringing their best team together, the best of the best, to treat these patients. I can say that nobody has been rushed out of the ambulance. You've been sitting here watching this with me, and it hasn't been a rushing situation. So hopefully that's a good sign, although we just don't know. We don't know if there are two patients in this ambulance or if there's only one. We are still working to learn the status of the other 3 confirmed victims. We're hoping that they were able to stay on base because they had less severe injuries, but we don't know that for fact yet. But we're hoping for the best in this situation. So I'll just give you guys a look at this ambulance as the person in there is being unloaded right now and taken into the hospital. I do see one person on a stretcher, so we could be expecting another ambulance within the next couple of minutes. We will be sure to keep you updated, but as of right now, we know at least one person has been taken into the hospital in a U.S. Army ambulance here at Memorial Hospital. Okay, we're clear.
Thank God for the cloud cover. I know, y'all. If it had been as hot as it was last week, we would be spotless. I know.
Why is because this is the hospital that's equipped to deal with injuries like gunshot wounds to this severity.
Okay, so there's one more ambulance to come, and then one more ambulance to come. The trolley's going back in. There wasn't any sense of urgency. Well, not saying that. Maybe they have to take the time. To be fair, I'm not a medical expert, so Sarah P will know a lot more than I do. But they were, maybe they had to be like that because in case they jerked the trolleys or something. I don't know. That's one in, just one more to go in, and then we'll pray for them. Hopefully they could be okay.
Yeah, I can go whenever you need me to.
Okay, well, let's go. I like talking to the presenters. Do you know what I mean? Keep them on their toes. Like, I'm not sure if the trial is back, people. I don't know. I'm not. Oh, here we go. This is a shot. Oh, jeepers. Okay. Zoom out, son. Zoom out. She's not going to be too happy when, luckily, it wasn't down a little bit and zoomed in. Okay, I like that shot. Okay, that's better.
Quick question. Are you guys live right now? Yeah? Okay,
Quick question. Are you guys live right now? What do you think she's who's she texting? So they're still in the ambulance behind. They're still working on
Yes. So
okay.
actually, I see another ambulance coming in right now. That is a central EMS ambulance, the ambulance that we've seen from when Army Community Hospital has been labeled U.S. Army. So I don't believe that this is an ambulance that's carrying any soldiers, although we don't know that for certain, but I can tell you the last ambulance we saw that had the last soldier was labeled U.S. Army. One soldier was taken here to Memorial Hospital. I would say it's been probably 10 or 15 minutes or so now. We don't know the conditions of any of the soldiers that have been shot or involved in this shooting. The Army hasn't given out that information. We did just get a press release from the Army several minutes ago saying that they weren't going to provide any further information until the investigation is complete. But again, we're also hearing about a press conference in a couple of hours. So it just serves as a reminder that in these situations, things are very fluid. You can hear one thing from one source and one from another. We really don't know what's going to happen, which is why we have a team of people on top of this situation throughout our entire viewing area. The Army has confirmed that 5 people were shot. 2 of them are here at Savannah Memorial Hospital, or rather one person is here. Another is in transit to Savannah Memorial Hospital. We know that this is the only level 1 trauma center in the area. It's the only hospital that is fit to help people with critical injuries, as you would imagine somebody would sustain had they been shot. I can tell you that in a typical situation, if somebody was hurt, if they were in a car wreck, if they had been shot, if they had been injured anyway. If we had the names of those people, we would be able to reach out to the hospital and they would be able to confirm what that person's condition was. They wouldn't tell us anything beyond that, but they would be able to confirm what that person's condition is. That's not how it's going to be in this situation because this is military personnel, because it is soldiers. Any information is going to come from the Army. And again, the last update that I saw from the Army was that they're not going to be releasing any additional information until their investigation is complete, though we do know that that could change. I would say around 15 minutes ago, officials from Memorial Hospital told us that the next soldier was set to arrive here in about 25 minutes. So we are expecting somebody to be here in 10 minutes or so. We will keep you updated when that person arrives, but for now, I am going to send it back to the studio.
Okay, so welcome back to the studio. I am the studio, so I will take over. So as she said, thanks for informing us, but another 10 minutes, the second one should be there. Bizarre though, the Army say there's a press conference, and on the second thing they say that they're not going to say anything until after the investigation's over. So I don't know what's true, what's not. You just got to go with the flow, I suppose, with it all.
So probably not too long.
The main thing is that it seems that 3 of them are in stable condition. These 2 that are here, we don't know anything about them. So, if you believe in prayer, then pray. So they could do with our help right now. She sends it back. They don't take it. Hee. Sarah P, thank you for that. Yes. It was more about the gurney, the trolley. They were quite slow in taking it all out.
Just texted me that someone is streaming you and me on YouTube. I haven't seen anybody.
Yes,
How
me.
the hell are they doing that?
I have no idea.
Oh, no, that. Yeah, I know. I'm not streaming them.
From the bird?
You should.
Where are they?
I don't know. I wonder if it was that guy that walked up to ask us something.
Oh, that bloke there. Did he look crazy?
He didn't look not crazy.
He did not look. Was he crazy? He didn't
Savannah.
not look crazy.
Trucks are white and where the bodies are coming out.
Also, if you're on YouTube, you're tough shit. You're on YouTube, love. Just
Bad combination.
live with it.
Hi.
Love you on TV. See you all the time.
Thank you so much.
She's famous. I've never heard of her. I don't even know who she is. See you all the time. I don't know who she is.
Too short.
Doesn't know the hot mic. No clue. I like. Ooh.
Yes.
It'd be quite cool if they start talking about something, going, well, we'll play some mine tonight, We can even hear the other person, but on the phone.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, bye. Okay, some station is streaming us somehow. They've tapped into our feed, and I don't know who it is or whatever, but we're apparently on a hot mic live on the internet right now. So just be aware.
Yeah, you're on a hot mic.
Is there no decency left in broadcasting?
I'm just not going to talk anymore.
You are hot mic in it.
Okay.
Let's go. Oh yeah, who's the snitch? Who's the snitch? Unravel yourself. Unveil yourself.
There was a mass shooting at Fort Stewart, and the injured people are coming here.
No, I know Daffodil. I know they're just still not back though. The stream is going.
5
The
people
stream's
are
on.
injured.
So
2 of them are coming here. That's all we know.
if people want to watch the stream, they can. It's still live. So I'll just double check on it, but it should be still live.
I know. We appreciate it.
Yes, it's still live. So Fantastic. Can you imagine? Was it 3, 4, 5? Well, she stitched us out. Though we're streaming now, their content, but whatever. Who's a snitch? Come on, show yourselves. I just want to see this ambulance turn up, and then I'm just switching it off. I don't really care.
I'm so sorry. I can't really talk right now.
Liar! I can't talk now. Liar! Why are you lying for?
Yeah. Hey, y'all, they're coming. If you guys can cut to me, please.
Oh, do we have to
Yes.
listen to your? Yes.
Yeah, have them come to me.
Why? Whiny voice. We don't care about you. Just want to see the ambulance.
We hear.
Oh,
We do hear lights and sirens right now. We were told about 25 minutes ago that we could expect the other victim that is expected here at Memorial to be here in about 25 minutes. I can hear those lights and sirens right now, and the ambulance is coming around the corner. I see a Georgia State Patrol vehicle pulling in, a Georgia State Patrol truck. So they were likely escorting the ambulance here. And after that, we can see an ambulance coming in behind them. So this is going to be that soldier. They have a full police escort, as you can hear, trying to step away so y'all can hear over the sirens. But we see a Chatham County Sheriff's car, a Georgia State Patrol car, a Savannah Police Department vehicle. I saw, I believe, a Georgia Department of Public Safety vehicle as well. Now, the ambulance that's presumably carrying that second soldier has pulled into Memorial Hospital's ambulance bay right now.
Yeah, that's
it's
right,
clear that
okay.
this person is in need of help. The staff here at Memorial Hospital has been standing by since just after 11 o'clock this morning when we first learned of this event. Now, the first patient was brought here, I would say, around 25 minutes ago, and now this is that second patient from the Fort Stewart Army base that's here at Memorial to receive treatment. Now, I'll remind you again that Memorial Hospital here in Savannah is the only level 1 trauma center in our area. It's the only hospital that is fit to treat serious or critical injuries like we can presume this soldier has. Fort Stewart and the Army has confirmed that 5 people were shot on base. 2 people are here at Memorial now. That last person is being unloaded from the ambulance as we speak. We don't know the extent of anybody's injuries, nor do we know the status of those 3 other soldiers. We do know that they were being treated at Wynn Army Community Hospital, which is on base, and that anybody that needed further treatment was going to be taken here to Memorial in Savannah. So we are hoping that those other soldiers are not in need of critical care, and that is the reason that they haven't been taken here to Memorial. But that second soldier, I can see them on a gurney right now being wheeled into the building, and we can see police officers as well. As we're going to take a zoom out here, we see another ambulance coming in. We don't know, don't believe it's related to the situation. We were told that there were going to be 2 patients from Fort Stewart coming here, and we have seen both of them now. There is a very heavy police presence in this ambulance bay. We saw several vehicles escorting the ambulance. Now, you might be asking again, if these patients are in critical condition, why weren't they taken by air? Why weren't they taken via helicopter?
And that was we know the wind, you stupid cow. What we last heard, Mag, was that the shooter is in custody. He is not injured. He's in custody, or she, whichever gender it is. That's all we know. That person is in custody. And not in need. Well, we've not been told that they need any kind of medical situation. So that's the last we heard. We only heard there was 2 people that needed medical attention, and one of them was not the shooter. But obviously, it's all fluid. But
multiple agencies, including the Georgia Department of Public Safety.
There's a lot of police there, though. So I'll see if there's anything else here on Twitter. Otherwise, there's not much more to be updated. There's a lot of these are like so outdated. They're like. Okay. I'm just checking something here. Let me check another thing. Yes, they, them as well, Balthazar. Okay. I will see what other ones we can get. If there's anything. If not, we'll just... well, the only interesting thing happened is 2 have now arrived in hospital. So the 2 of them have arrived in hospital. I hope, we pray and hope that they are okay or that they pull through. Is the trial back then, Lady Di? I don't think there's much more we can do here, because it's all going to be later on. I mean, the shooter's been caught. The shooter is in custody. Let me do this then. Hang on. What I will say, so there's no more updates on that. It's one of those things now. No worries, Dennis. I mean, the other trials on the other channel, but I will play this as well if I can find it. Where's it gone? So hang on, I'll play this here so that you can see this as well, because you may have missed this this morning. I'll play it to see. I'll put it on the screen first before I do it, so people don't go, "Well, what is going on?" They'll fucking look at the screen. Right, hang on. Let me just do this. This. No, hang on. I'll put that at the bottom, and then I'll just do this. Okay, I'll put this up here. So this is what I'm going to play now, just so you can see, in case you didn't see this morning, early this morning. I'm not sure how much stuff there is here, but this happened as well this morning. For anyone that wants to see this, this was a shooting in DC this morning. So I'll just play. I'll let it play. That is what it is. I'll just let it play, and I'll try and bounce between both streams. Thank you, Badaza. As long is the stream working, Sarah P? Is it working okay? The stream, audio, and everything working? Can you all hear it? Okay, not this one. I mean the trial one. I got the other one open as well. So this is from this morning. Coverage of triple shooting in DC this morning. So I'm playing it. There's some dead. Oh, I don't know what, I'll do it from here then.
When does your daughter go back?
Not till the last week of August.
Oh,
like
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to at least get it to the last week of August.
I know these. I mean, I don't understand anymore.
Well, I hope they get out in May.
Right? They don't though.
They're almost on a college schedule if they're going back.
Yep.
You know, Melanie took one of hers back because she's in a sorority, so she went back early. And she got the son's going back maybe another week. It's going back down.
It goes fast.
Yeah, that's it. It's a fast summer.
$90. Oh wow.
Nice. That's an eternity.
I know.
There's no teleporting. You thought, oh shit. There's 2 streams ongoing, lovely. 2 streams ongoing. So you're fine. The trial and this. So the trial still hasn't started yet. You're still on lunch break. Yeah, come on, tell us, love. I thought this would be more interesting than it is. It's not very interesting. It's not very interesting, I'll give you that. Oh, thank you, Daffy. No worries. Hope she's okay.
Yeah, so far investigators haven't told us precisely what's happening, but you can see behind me still an active scene. Police have remained here hours after the shooting here. This is the 1800 block of U Street in Southeast. The shooting apparently happening in the center courthouse between these 2 apartment complexes. You can see the yellow tape up, police still here. A lot of debris littered in this parking lot. They're not exactly giving us what happened here, but there were 3 people that were found shot here on the scene when police arrived shortly after 11. They're saying the call time was around 11:22. When they got here, they found an adult male and female injured. They were not, but they were conscious. Another man was unconscious and not breathing. He could not be saved despite their life-saving efforts here on scene. At this point, police say they don't have a usable lookout for a suspect. Homicide detectives are now leading this investigation. I want to take you now to what happened about an hour earlier on the other side of the district. This is in Northwest. This is where a 38-year-old man was shot and killed on the 1300 block of Otis Place Northwest. A witness who did not want to be identified says that 3 men drove up in the dark-colored sedan in the back alley, got out and fired at least 47 shots, hitting Cordero Horn at least twice. His relatives tell Fox 5 some of those bullets tore into the home. Now, Horn's sister, who did not want her identity revealed out of fear of retaliation, says her brother was a nice guy. He'd come from North Carolina, and she believes that the shooting was a case of mistaken identity. Now, Cordero Horn leaves behind a wife, 4 children, and several grandchildren. Police continue to investigate that shooting, and they're also here investigating this shooting. We don't have a lot of information about who the victim is or exactly what led it to this, but as you can see, they remain on scene. We'll continue to work the scene, gathering information. As we get more of that, we'll be sure to pass it along to you. In the meantime, I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Get a shift change, so they're gonna be here for food. Yeah, she just tripping.
Honestly, you know, after you know how to deal with people. And initially, I'm trying to be all nice, like.
And they've been tooted up all night.
They've been smoking out here, getting a contact high. You know, this is the one thing about doing this 1,000 years. I know people like the back of my hand. I'm like, you know what? We're gonna be as cool as possible, but what do they say, Mark? Don't start none with me.
Oh yeah. I got my eyes on
But we appreciate you though. Thank you for being here. They still have us streaming, by the way. Okay.
Okay, there's nothing there. I mean, that is a pile of shite. I thought there might be something, but there's not. I just thought there would be something there. Doesn't seem that many people want to watch this anyway. So what we'll do is, what we're going to do is we're going to end the stream here. There's not much to add to it. I might do a stream later. We'll see. I might do see how the trial is. There's only about 10 people, 11 people watching the trial right now. So there's not much interest for it. But what I might do is, I don't know, might do what do you call it? Car chase or something. But an old one. There's no new car chases. I might just do a combination of old ones or something. Just but I know Lady Di, I know you're into the trial though, so I don't want to disturb you. Oh, you're all over here. No, that's fine. You go over there. I'm just. Oh, do you know what? Before you go, it's only 17 years therapy, and most of you have got both fucking open. So, all right, I'll close this one and I'll give it 5-10 minutes, and I'll do another one about police chasing, but it won't be live. It'll just be whatever thingy. So, right, mofos, love you. And see some of you back on that trial, and then if not, see some of you for the racing. Let's frigging go. I'm gonna set that one up now. Let's frigging go. See you in a bit. Love you. Ta-da.